Yo, this is Plug Events and Time have come. The Lion tell them one story. This is the Lion's Voice. Stay tuned.
And imagine me, I come from a Muslim family. My family, they're all married. Everybody has their children. My cousins, my aunts, they're even, my little cousin just got married. She's only 17, 18 years old. And then they're setting foundations. And here I come with a different liberty to my family. And I'm embarrassing. I feel embarrassed because look what I'm doing. Because of the faith that I put into my relationships. And it's not a good feeling. And it's a great reasoning to have.
Face, because even this interview, when I put it up, there's gonna be brethren that reach out and say, I want to get the sister number, you know, you know what I mean? That is what
And
always
also,
happens.
it has to be a certain balance and criteria because a lot of brethren, they say one thing. I've had, even when I made that post, a lot of brethren was in my inbox and it's like 70-year-old brethren hailing me up. It's like, give thanks, I'm honored. But let's be real. I'm 39 years old. I'm a vegan. I'm ITAL. My energy is up. Do you think you can maintain me? I still want to have three more youths. I don't want to be taking care of you and your older age. Don't get me wrong. If that's something that I would want, there's nothing wrong with that. But in my mind, no, I still have things to be doing. I want my king one to be able to be in the hills and be in the soil and stuff like that. I'm gonna be taking care of you.
Well, Lion Voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion Voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion Voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion Voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion Voice. Yeah. Well, Haile Selassie the first, the Almighty, and he was crowned with Empress Menen. And you see there come a time in every relationship and it brand new and your heart is full of doubt. And you try investigate to check things out. And sometimes you see if you follow word of mouth, you end up to take the wrong route. Well, it's a mystery, what a mystery, and I can't see. But will she diss me? Will she trick me? Or is it just me? Well, it's a mystery, what a mystery, and I can't see. Well, will she diss me? Or will she be the wife and mother of my baby? Sometimes I feel like she's holding back. Something inside says it don't react. Sometimes I hear how the people chat. Most of the time we ignore all of that. The way she read books made my soul relax. Love how she look and she proud to be black. Me love how she cook and how she state the fact. She said the wicked of it melt like wax. Well, it's a mystery, what a mystery, and I can't see. Well, will she diss me? Will she trick me? Or is it just me? Then, well, it's a mystery. Well, front to us a son was born and a child was given.
I want to ask you a question. Have you got your book? Haile Selassie's Ethiopia Volume 1, The Rise of the Priest Warrior King. I've read the book in its entirety and I must say it's very inspirational, very informative and very historical, right?
Them call him Rastafari. When he was born, rain fall from sky. Them call him Rastafari. When he was grown in airplanes he fly. They call him Rastafari. The lion break the chain, weep not, don't cry. Them call him Rastafari. Read the Revelation chapter 5 verse 5. Then born near the city of Harar, the inspiration for Bob Marley's guitar. People crowd him like some big superstar. It no matter if England.
Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie the First. Glory and honor the name of his chosen queen, Empress Waziri Menen. My name is Kwasi Bansu, aka the Dejazmatch Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Panafrican Happy Man. I'm a creative industry attorney, I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an actionist, and right now I am the host of Lion Love. Lion Love. Welcome to the Lion Voice Network and welcome to Lion Love, the latest program on the network where we are reasoning about man and woman relationships and how we can build a strong Rastafari nation, strong family. Right now we're in phase 1 of the program. We're talking to the Ayatas, the daughters of Zion. We want to hear from them. You know, what are some of the challenges? You know, what are some solutions that we can reason about? We want to come forward, family, and really, have the discussions that we're not having, because one thing is for sure, if we don't reason about it, it's not going to change. It's not going to get better. You know, we're not going to get to where we want to be by ignoring the situation. I have a very special guest here. Someone that, I saw she made a post on Facebook, and we'll talk about the post on Facebook, and it sparked my imagination. I said, I have to reason with this queen immediately. And, I reached out, and small world realized that there's some points of connection in terms of the family. So welcome, Empress Indie. Welcome.
I give thanks, bless you, love. Thanks for having me.
Royal blessings.
Yes.
Royalty. So just introduce the I self and where the I trotting from, where the I was born, and your journey to Rastafari.
Yes, sir. My name is Empress Indie, aka known on Facebook as Sekhmet Ra. I'm born in America, but my parents, my mom is American. She's from the South, from Columbia, South Carolina. And my father is hailing from the West Indies, born in Antigua, but growing up in U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Croix. My grandparents are from Trinidad and Tobago and India as well as Antigua. I've been hailing and trotting Far since I was 16 years old. I was a certified nurse's assistant. Now I'm a practical nurse. I'm studying to do sterilization technician. I'm also a herbalist as well as a yoni steaming practitioner.
All right, so we're
working on my craft.
Yes, we're gonna have to keep the eye close. That's a lot of skills, and especially within the healing, it's so necessary. Is the eye comfortable with stating the eye age, or?
I'm 39 years old.
Okay. So we're close in age group. I'm 46 years old.
Right.
Little, big brother, So we're gonna have a big brother sister conversation today. And I don't know how much I know about but I have been married for about 16 years. I've been with my queen 20 plus years. So,
I can add that in. I'm divorced almost 10 years.
Okay.
Almost 5 years, not 10, almost 5 years, yeah.
Okay, and do you have children?
I have 3 young youths, 18-year-old daughter, a 14-year-old son, and an 11-year-old daughter.
Okay, I have a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old. So, parents, we can have a good reasoning. The I has been married, so I know we're gonna have a good reasoning. Talk to I and I. What born in America? Yes, your parents are Caribbean. What attracted to the eye to Rastafari at such a young age?
When I was a teenager, I used to hang out with a lot of Guyanese youths who used to play sound like DJ, and they were all Rastas. And I used to hang out with them, and I was so fascinated. And I just took to them so much. Honestly, I was like the only girl. I used to sell herb to them, actually. And I went to St. Croix when I was 16, and my family took me for a Christmas break. And when I got there, I saw so many Rastafari. I mean, I saw the most Rastafari I ever seen in my life. And I had a vision. And when I was sleeping, I had this vision. I saw myself standing on the hills with a white dress with a long crown. And then I woke up and I was standing next to a king man and he had the same clothes on and I woke up. So when I was there, I just bought a whole bunch of His Majesty pictures and everything I could find as Rastafari. And in the States, I had a friend who was a Rasta, which he was my first boyfriend. He was a Rastafari. He was 16 and he was the only Rasta in the community. I came home and I was like, went straight to his house and I took all his books and I just started studying on my own. And then from there, it was a call and I found my home and I knew where I should be and I found my spirituality from when I was 16.
Wow, that's a powerful, powerful testimony.
The funny thing is, when
yeah.
I did get older, that vision did come to pass. And me and my ex-husband, we got married. It was the same person I did see with the same clothes, and we got married on the beach where I did see when I was 16 years old.
Oh, wow. So you fulfilled. There
Yes.
is a prophetess.
I am. I see a lot of things. Yeah.
Okay, because I know some of the family, we have these gifts, you know.
Yeah.
This is part of our African tradition from ancient days.
Yes, sir.
So you said you had a Rastafari boyfriend at 16. So
Yeah.
let's start there. What attracted the eye? So the eye was not Rastafari, and the eye just saw this brethren trotting with locks and thing. What attracted the eye?
Actually, it was my best friend's best friend, and he never stopped troubling me. Every day, he always troubled me. And the youth passed away right now, so rest in peace to Dexter.
Yes.
He would always trouble me, and then I finally gave in, and I would be eating my chicken, and he would throw my whole chicken in the garbage. And he was just a disciplined youth from a very young age, and he used to get a lot of fight down because he was so disciplined at a young age. And a lot of the Caribbean used to make jokes like, you know, the Congo Bongo youth and eating his ital, and he was very physically fit and all these things. I was just attracted. And when I read the books and I started learning about His Majesty, actually, honestly, my uncles are Muslim. And I was going to take my Shahada because I was 16 and I was coming into myself and I wanted to find my balance. I was from a rough neighborhood. All the girls were doing the same things and I wanted to be different. I wanted to find a different walk. So I talked to my uncle and he's like, you know, I want you to take your Shahada, and he gave me Marcus Garvey's book, The Prophecy of Marcus Garvey. So as I start reading, and Marcus Garvey said, look to the hills to the coming of a black king. I was like, what? Who's this black king? Who's this king? But I had already knew of His Majesty. So that connection to me was like, it was what sealed the deal for me. Like, and that's what really gained my attraction to Rastafari.
Okay, and why do you think that first relationship didn't work out with the eye and that Rastafari brethren?
Honestly, he was so disciplined, he was so militant, and we were so young. We were only 16, which now as an adult, I feel I'm so stupid. But back then, he wanted to be so serious. He wanted to get married. He wanted to do everything. And I'm like, brethren, I didn't even get off the porch yet. I need to go outside. So you gotta wait. And it just became too much for me and I wasn't ready. So
yes,
I depart. But we continued to be friends, but I kind of mashed up the youth head because after that, it's like he bust his locks. He just turned bald head. Everything. He was so heartbroken. He was so devastated.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah, so it wasn't time, I feel like. It just wasn't time. And the funny thing is, right before he passed, and like I told you, I see things. So the few days before he passed, he called my phone, which was like over 10 years. And he said to me, you know, I'm heightened up again, and I just wanted you to know. And I reasoned him. I said, you know, you never leave far always with you, but you had to go in the world and learn and come forward to yourself again. And right after that, the youth passed away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that. And, you know, light in your heart, because no one can trod for another one, you know. So it was not the eye, you know, the brethren had to go through his tests.
Yes.
You know, creation will test the eye, and the eye was going through the eye chart. So, you know what I mean? We have to just give thanks for those moments, but know that it wasn't the eye that caused the brethren to trim. And, you know, yes, the sadness was there, but that was a test.
It was a test.
So, in terms of trotting up now, the eye 16, you're trotting up in the levity. You know, where does love lead the eye? from there? Was it always Rastafari brethren, or did you talk to?
When you hear my story is a story. So after that, we when we break up, when I broke up with the youth, he had a friend that was my friend as well, and he would have everybody call my phone to get us together. He even had Warrior King call my phone because we were into the sound, and he used to get dub plates and stuff. So he had those connections. So he spoke with Warrior King, and Warrior King
I'm
called.
big up Warrior King, because Warrior King, I'm a brethren. We're gonna have him on this
Yes,
platform.
I hope he's a true Warrior King, because I always wonder, but he sounds like Warrior. He probably don't remember, but I used to love Warrior King's song back then, and he called me and he said, he sung to me and he said, you know, the brethren really love you, Ray. And then another youth call, which was his friend, was a young Bobo brethren. He called and we started to reason, and when he was reasoning, he said, I realized why you and the brethren didn't work out. You too mature for him, and this brethren was a little bit older than I. So me and this brethren was just friends, but from that initial conversation was like a spark had built between I, and he was trying Bobo Shanti, and he would go to Miami, to the EABIC in Miami, and while he was in Miami, one night I had a vision again, and in the vision, me and the brethren was reasoning, and I said, there's no kingman out there for me, and he looked to me and he said, I'm here for you, and I woke up. And I'm like, what? I never liked this man. I never looked at this man like that. Like,
Yes.
He's my ex-brethren's friend. I never looked at him like that. But that vision was so strong. I had to tell him. I just felt compelled to tell him. And when I didn't tell him yet, I told his friend. And his friend's like, you should tell him, because his friend knew that he was checking for me the same way. So I eventually told him when he came back from the EABIC in Miami, and then he said to me, you know, I was at the sea and I was praying for you. And this is what he said to me. So that's how we connected, and that became my child father, my first child father.
Okay.
So we started to try Bobo Shanti together, and we started going to Miami, EAB, ACI, and I was only 18 when we started to try.
Okay, so it was a young age. And why do you think that first connection did not work out?
With the initial connection, or my child?
With your child's father?
Well, we stayed together for 6 years.
Okay.
We were young. I was very young. And I'm just going to be honest on this interview. And this brethren had a double life. He had a child mother, which I knew. And he had 2 children already, which I knew. But the conversation that we were having is she didn't want to try Rastafari. So they were broken up, and we initially started dating. He was coming to my house. He was staying by my house. And I didn't know that they were still dating or whatever the case may be.
And I want us to be honest, because my audience is 95% brethren. And one of the tagline is that we're cultivating Rastafari brethren to lead a prosperous Rastafari future. And I talk about sexual discipline on my channel. You know what I mean? That's one of the pillars that we try to push within the Lion Pride. So you said the brethren had a double life.
Yeah, he had a double life. And I'm very known, so ones will know this story, but they won't know. They know the story that they think they know.
And I don't want to get too deep into but just generally, because we want to provide lessons and solutions, not to condemn a brethren. I know the brethren probably are going to watch this video, because Lion Voice Network is one of the fastest growing platforms in the Rastafari family. So me know the grassroots, them plug in, so someone are going to show it to him. So I don't want to feel like we're attacking.
No, it's not attacking, and it's my story, it's my truth.
Exactly.
I'm not worried about that. So
yes. Yeah. So I just want to set, because I don't want to build this platform as a controversy.
No, not
platform. At all. This is about healing. This is about bringing forward the family into a oneness, so that we have, children growing up in families where there's a mother and a father, and they're together. That, His Majesty show us that example. So continue. The brethren was living a double life.
Yeah. So he was still in his I do believe that he did leave the sister alone for a little while. But then I got pregnant and with my first child, and we were back and forth to Florida, and we would go to ISIS and go to service and stuff like that. And one time when I went, it was Christmas actually. Oh, wow, it's the same time this year right now, so it's like an anniversary.
Oh.
So they had a call, a group call with everybody, and ones were saying little comments about a brethren and his child mother coming to the celebration and one leaving, and I didn't pick it up that it was me they were talking about at first until I realized that Citron did eventually tell me, like, you know, at the time they were doing delegation service and the youths were supposed to get delegated. So I only had my one child and she was only almost 1 year old. But I was starting school to do medical billing and coding, so I had to leave Florida because I had my child and I was very young and I wanted to build something for myself, so I had to leave, and I didn't want to leave because I really wanted to get my youth delegated at the EABIC. True, I was trotting back and forth for so long, it was like my destiny to do that, but I had to leave, and the day that I left, his daughter came. But I didn't know at first until I was leaving, and he told me, he's like, I got to tell you something, you're leaving and she's coming, the youths are getting delegated because he have his other youths with the daughter. And I'm just like heartbroken because I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me? Or why wouldn't you keep the youth, our youth, so she could get delegated same time if that's the case, you know? So that was how I kind of really start to realize, you know, what was going on.
Okay.
And that's kind of when I started to get fed up with the whole situation.
Okay. So that relationship didn't continue after that?
No.
All right. And
big
then,
drama. No.
big drama, yes. And this is very common in our community.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm telling the brethren they have to be honest with the sister and them if they're going to keep multiple queens, you know. We talk about the whole polygamy. There
and
have
I'm not
to be
against
rules
that at all. And I'm not against it. I'm not against that at all.
Yeah.
I just believe he was so young. So you have to understand, this was years ago. My daughter's 18. I hold no malice. I hold no grudge. I feel like he have his walk. He going through his thing. He have to go through his thing. I never hold that against him. We were young. But for my life, this is my truth. And what really was the issue for me was the elders that were around us. I was a young, enthusiastic daughter. Like, I didn't trot far right for no man. I was trotting because I loved the liberty. And I was coming all the way to Miami from New Jersey, so young. And I just was so devastated that the elders around who knew what was going on didn't stop the situation or didn't get involved and say, you know what, this is a young princess. She have a future ahead of her. If you're not going to do right by her, you need to allow her and make another king man take her up because, you know, we building nation building, we building families, and strong families is what we need to build as Rastafari. So more time, that's what really hurt me the most is the elders who knew what the situation was, who smiled in my face, who taught me things, who, you know, who didn't just embrace me and say, listen, you have to get out of this situation because your future is based on what's going on right now, you know?
So the elders, there was a failure in the infrastructure.
To me, because I believe so.
Yeah. And this is a good reasoning because I think that the village, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to cultivate, and that's one of the things that I want to do is to create that kind of virtual village because we have to have this conversation. It's uncomfortable for a lot of us, but we have to bring it to the light so that we can.
Right.
If there's a next young sister and she doesn't go through what I went through in terms of not being supported, you know what I mean? And we really have to look at arranged marriage, you know, and being strategic in terms of making sure that when ones come forward with that zeal as youths, we can make sure they get a good king man, you know, or they get a good queen, you know what I mean? So so that we can have
And there
those.
were so many Rastafari brethren them times that now you don't see as much. But back then there was a lot of young brethren who didn't have youths, you know. So it was like, if you don't want the situation, or if you want to have your cake and eat it too, be fair, be honest, have that reasoning, give ones a chance to, you know, have a foundation that's honest, and we can work things out because children are involved. You have to be a mature being. You have to have sense. You have to make, like, once feelings and emotions are involved, you have to learn to let that go and deal with what the actual foundation is.
And as you said, the brethren was young at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and no one had really discussed that. You know, the generation that came before us, when we look
Right.
at their situation, they did not really set that family structure. And a lot of them
Right.
are coming from survival,
Mm-hmm.
you know, trauma, you know,
Mm-hmm.
all of these things that are part of the African experience, the uprising that we're
Right.
going through. So after the first Kingman, your first child's father, where did love take the eye after that
Hi.
journey? Your heart
So
was broken. Your heart was broken. You're still a young sister.
my
You
heart
have
was
a child
shattered in
now.
pieces.
Yes, yes. You have
My
a
heart, because it
child.
wasn't just a love. It was, you know, I was trotting Bobo Shanti at the same time. So it was like I was seeking God. So God was involved and I was reading the Bible for the first time. My vision was clear. Everything in the Bible came clear to me. I was pregnant, so I used to go to the service every Sabbath, belly big, stand by the drum, get that vibration. So I was so in tune. I was so deeply rooted at that moment in my life. So when that happened, it was like I couldn't believe this is happening to me in this time. Like, I just was so shocked that, you know, I was in a dark place. I wouldn't lie, because this is life and this is reality. And I don't really mind who's gonna watch know my story, because this is reality and we have to deal with life and its lessons. And I was in a very dark place, and I had a Rastafari sister in Brooklyn. I used to always go and check her, and I was so heartbroken that she was there like a healer. She was comforting. She would always like check for me, and I would stay weekends and on in Brooklyn, hanging out amongst the Rasta and just holding a vibe, just to free up my heart, you know. And her son was so attracted to me. He was not Rasta, but the mom was Rasta. And he was a very kind person. He always checked for me, always checked for my youth. Every time he see me, you could see the love in his eyes. Like, and I'm like, at this point, I'm like, you need to love who love you. In my mind, you know, I'm like, love who love you. This youth is a bald head youth, but maybe he'll change. And I started to talk to him, and he did start heightening up a little bit and stop eating certain things and start reading a little bit here and there, and you know, but he was still young and he was in the streets and stuff, so the street life was more prevalent to him than what I was trying to build with him. And it came like he was trying to impress me more than trying to be with me the right way. So he would like go and do things without me. And I'm like, he would run and go to the EABIC to go service and say he went service to like prove himself to me. And I didn't like that, because I'm like, yo, brethren, you got to understand where I'm coming from. So you have to watch what we do in a relationship, you know? And I would like for us to do things together. If you're going to go to the ISIS, let's go together. If you're going to get introduced to the brethren, then don't rush and go through. I tell you, his mom was a Rasta.
Yes.
So he would still do that, I guess, just to get that.
Was his
that
mother
zeal.
Bobo Shanti? She was Bobo Shanti?
At the time she was.
Okay.
So
So you're still in the Bobo Shanti ecosystem?
at that time, yes.
At that time, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir. So I gave him a chance, and then you know, we stayed together for a little while, but he did get incarcerated, and then he went away for a while. And when he came back home, I realized the connection wasn't there anymore. Because at the time I was still going through my healing, and I was young. Like I always say, I was young, so my mind wasn't fully grown yet. And I was like, who love you, not who you love? And I tried to work it out, but in reality, I was deeply rooted to Rasta. It wasn't gonna work, you know?
Yeah.
So we separated, But we stay in contact to right now. So.
Okay, give thanks. Give
Yes,
thanks.
yes, sir.
So, where did love lead you after that?
So after that, I stayed single for a very long time. I didn't have anyone for a long time. I had a son with my last child father. I had my son who's 14. I stayed single. He got incarcerated by the time my son was a baby. My son, when he came home, my son was like 8 months old. So when he left, I was by myself for a long time. So
That was the first bubble brethren you're talking about that broke
no,
your heart.
no, the second youth that I tell you, he wasn't a Rastafari, but he was heightened up.
Okay. Oh, you had a youth with that brethren too.
I had my son with him.
Okay. Give thanks. Yes.
Which I wanted to have my son with him because he's like 6'3" and he's strong, and I wanted my son. All these things Dr. John Henry Clark speak about, like things of how the traits we would want for our children and stuff. So that was what attracted me to have a child same way.
Yes.
So I had my son, and then he departed from me when my son was like 8 months. So I stayed single until my son was like 2 years old.
Okay.
And I used to do a radio program with a few other daughters, a daughter named Ras Tafari and a daughter named Aisha. And we had a program in New Jersey on the radio called Lioness on the Rise.
Okay.
And I used to be on the radio hosting, and it was a very lovely program. We would talk about Rastafari works and play conscious music and stuff. And I met a lot of people on Facebook through the show, and I met this daughter, and she would always say, "I want you to meet my brother. I want you to meet my brother." So one night we met up at a midnight show, and I met her in person, but I didn't meet the brother yet. And then like the following weeks, she put us on the phone together, and we talked on the phone for a very long time. And eventually we saw each other, and we connected, and we got married right away.
So that was the brethren that you visioned from the 16-year-old?
Yes.
Aile.
That was my first true love.
Okay, and he was a Rastafari brethren?
Yes, I had Naibingi brethren, yes, sir.
Okay.
And on walk and everything, yeah.
Okay, and what was the challenge, or why are you not with that brethren at this time?
Oh, Lord.
So, we want to get to the root. We have to get to the root.
We have to. So,
I mean,
so me and this brethren, we were together for a very long time. We were very spiritually connected. This is the first time I really believed that I was in a spiritually connected relationship. He was from St. Lucia. So at a point in time when he was here, his documents had expired. And he wanted to go back home because he had a lot of land homes. His grandfather had acres of land, and he decided to go back home. We decided together, and I was in agreement with it. And I really wanted to do it. So he went back home. As he went back to St. Lucia, he stayed in St. Lucia for the first 2 years. He became like this super rebellious Rastafari, one of the Rastafari who don't want cell phone, who don't want to deal with certain things. So it kind of created a disconnect at first because I still had the 3 children home. I had a youth for him. And when he decided to leave, and we got married on July 23rd. It was very Isle of Fool vibe. So we were connected, but when he left, it was a separation. It was a disconnect.
Okay.
You could feel it in the atmosphere, like it just broke.
So why you didn't go to St. Lucia with the brethren?
I went. I used to go back and forth. I was in the process of going to live with him. So the first 2 years when he went, and this is a conversation I would love to have because many of us has experienced this kind of repatriation. That some of us, it wasn't successful, and some of us it was. He was very young, and he had to learn. When I say he was young in this experience. He didn't have any children or anything like that, or he used to work. He went to college and stuff like that. But as far as like raising a family, he was a stepdad now and things like that. It was a lot for one person, I do understand. So when he did decide to go, he stayed in the island learning how to cultivate the land. He became a farmer. He was not using cell phone as much. we this is a person that I would be on the phone with all day long when he's in America at work. So when he was in the island, we weren't talking. It caused that disconnect between me and him. So then we would bicker, and then I got to a process. 5 years passed, no house built, no nothing. We just stuck stagnant. I feel like I'm complaining all the time. He's feeling down and out because he lost his family. I want to say he got very depressed because of the situation. He didn't know how to manage. And me being a strong woman, I won't deny that I am a firm woman, and maybe I might have been a little too hard or, fed up or frustrated at times because this is my life and I had my children and I was tired of being in America, working 2 jobs, taking care of 3 children, when you're in the hills enjoying the islands, eating mangoes and drinking coconut water. So I was frustrated, and I asked him 5 years in, how about you take the children and I stay in the States? And I close down my apartment and I just work and I just send you everything I need to send you, and you start building so we can move this process up faster. I give you 5 years. I try to let you be the man that you need to be and do all what you need to do. But at first he was against it, and then he allowed me. So I let him take the 2 youths, the 2 youngest, and I kept my oldest. I moved into a smaller apartment. I downgraded everything. I sent down everything for my youths. I put them in school over there. I was going there every summer, all 3 months. I would go there every year. I would spend every holiday there. So I was always there. And I got tired of that because that's money, 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 money. So it got to the point when I'm like, okay, I'll hire a babysitter and I'll pay her to iron the youth's clothes, cook while you work, and manage the children while you have to work. This was the plan with the brethren. At first, the first babysitting didn't work out. There was a young girl that I knew from the town. She was a struggling girl. I knew her. She got a handicapped child. I asked her to babysit for me. She became my babysitter. The first week I leave the island, my husband cheated on me with the babysitter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they start to violate me. The first thing she ever do, actually my youth told me, the girl owe you my king man crown. My head just went out of it because I'm like so spiritual, so deeply rooted. Like, you don't allow a bald-head woman to touch your crown.
Oh, she was a bald-head sister.
She was a bald-head daughter.
Okay.
A young bald-head daughter. And that was the first thing. As a Rastafari, I mean, we know principle. We're already on certain heights. So that was the first thing that just tell me.
And let me just say, for my non-Rastafari, when we say bald, it just means that she's not a Fari.
Not a principal woman. She's not a principal woman.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that she's bald literally.
No,
so I just
she's not a principal woman.
So in terms of, and again, we see this theme of sexual indiscipline from the brethren. That is destroying the families. And I said earlier, you're not against polygamy, but there has to be an order. And I say to brethren that polygamy is a rich man institution. Right. You have to have money to have multiple wives. That's how I look at it, because you have to be able to provide for these wives and families.
And we would have been able to provide for her if that was the conversation. I wouldn't have mine, because I do know man is man, and he was lonely, and he had a person who's like, she's showing all this interest in the person. You know, she is young and inexperienced, and this is a man who have a woman that, in my mind, when me and my ex-husband separated and he stayed in the island, I stayed here, in my mind I said, I'm going to be the best wife, the best empress. I'm going to show my king man that I can do all of it without him being here, to show him that I'm willing and I'm riding with him. So I put myself to school. I went to nursing school. I did all kind of programs. I went to doula training. I did a whole bunch of things for survival in the island. And it was like, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. And he didn't.
Did the brethren actually build the house with the money that I was sending forward?
The money that I was sending was to pay for the daughter, but we did put the frame of the house up.
Okay.
And it was just the frame, and that was it. Nothing else.
Okay.
And I believe in that saying what Vaughn always said, beauty is a troublemaker. And I feel like that was one of the problems that we had. He didn't really trust me. I'm in America by myself with one child. But in reality, I was working 120 hours a week. I was
Wow.
faithful. I was doing the right thing by my kingman because this was what I wanted. And I started to go to the Blue Fire retreat. So I started to find my calling and my purpose as a daughter even more. I'm becoming more in tune and in line with my feminine energy and my purpose and the things that I wanted to do. And being in St. Lucia would have allowed me to connect to that even more, to my purpose even more. So I was true to it.
Let's talk about that, because do you feel that being in the West, having to work so much, that it puts you in a masculine energy, that maybe when you're reasoning with the brethren, there's a level of emasculation that's happening because now you are making more money than him. He's feeling vulnerable maybe, and that insecurity comes up, or masculine energy comes up?
I know for a fact that that's the case, but for me, in my mind, I always thought that I was trying my best to down that, to respect him, to show him that this is for I and I. And I would have to always prove myself and always say that you put me in a position to be this way, to firm up in America by myself. You cannot expect me to come in the island and be so soft. You have to retrain me as my man. You have to, what is like tuning me, like a fine tuning, balance me again. Because I'm so, and I'm a scale, I'm a Libra, so you have to balance me. I'm a Don, so I have to be balanced.
I'm a Libra too.
Yes, so I know self, so I know that too much of one thing is not good for me.
Yes.
I need to have
balance.
So as my kingman, I believe like you're supposed to come to me and firm me up. If I say something, hold me accountable. Don't treat me mean. Don't be nasty to me if it's like that. But I do know that, I started to make more money. I started to pay for trips. I started to do all these things. I'm coming in the island. I look like this American Rasta girl, and I'm beautiful, and I have nice clothes. And there are people in the island looking at me and say, Rasta Empress, you look so nice. We never see a Rasta look so nice. Yeah. And now he wants to be the Rasta in the island who looks so raga. So it kind of like threw off our balance. And these are conversations we had, so I wouldn't just speak these things.
Yes. So is there any hope in that arena with that kingman there of reconciliation? Because we would love to repair the families then same way.
It's been 5 years and he has had a child with the girl.
Okay.
But I will not lie. That's the love of my life. I don't want to cry.
Don't cry. Don't cry.
I feel like my family was broken.
Yes.
And I'm just in a world and I can't find my place again because I'm 39 years old with 3 kids. Like, that was my family,
Yes.
And I had to walk away because I have daughters and I had already put up with so much. It was like to a point where I had to like, all right, this is not what His Majesty is teaching I and I about foundation. Yeah. I'm hurting. He's hurting. I don't want to keep hurting him. I don't want to keep dealing with him like that. I don't want to keep arguing, bickering, because I love him so much. I don't want to bicker with the person I love so much. I don't want to keep making the person I love so much feel so down. Mm-hmm. I don't want the person I love so much to hate me because I make them feel how I'm making them feel. Better me take myself out. I actually had to go back to collect my youth, and this is what I did. I went to the Blue Fire retreat. The day that it was over, I got on a plane and I went to collect my children. So I was in a spiritual state of mind when I reached there. I was in a pure state of mind. I was in deep meditation for 3 days with the daughters, chanting, singing, reading, reasoning, burning ganja, everything, and eating nice food, everything. And that is what it really healed me. And if it wasn't for the Blue Fire and the daughters, and that's why I always big up Jazanai for her putting forward that actual foundation for I and I as daughters, because it's well needed and you don't know where somebody is in life when they reach there. know?
No. We're
And
gonna be partnering with the Blue Fire I Treat. You know, I'm advertising for it this year, helping out. So, you know, what you're saying is so beautiful because it's you're giving testimony
oh
to
yes.
because a lot of ayatas are scattered and looking for that fellowship. You know what I mean, or
And the
that
funny
strength.
thing is, a lot of the daughters had experienced what I was experiencing, and they were
Yeah,
elders to me. And they were the ones that got me to a level. It's like, check your heavens. You have to do something. You have to collect your children. You have to, still be a mother. You have to come back to America and rebuild yourself. So I can't be weak. I can't be emotionally damaged right now. I have to firm up. And that blue fire energy, that feminine sister unity sealed me up a kind of way where when I went home to collect my children, I didn't go there in a rage. I didn't go there with anger. I didn't go there with ready to fight the girl. At first in my mind, I thought that would be it. But when I saw the person, I was just so free and I was just like, you know what? Make the universe deal with that. You know? And that was it. And me and him had a deep reasoning. At first, I didn't stay with him, but then I eventually went to stay with him. I stayed 14 days in the island. I was like, I'm not leaving the island without getting the island vibe. And we reasoned, and we actually came together. We were gonna stay together, but the daughter called his phone, and I realized, I don't want to fight with this. This is not a battle that I want to fight. This is
yeah.
not the battle. I'm so much of a nation builder and a RBG, Black Power woman, that's not the battle I want to fight. I want to fight the system. I want to fight Babylon damaging the Black family, and I want to fight the education system. I want to fight poverty. I want to fight these things. I don't want to fight who you dealing with, you know? So that was
And
my...
yeah, and this is why these conversations are important because whether it's a polygamy situation or some new configuration, because that's a family that's separated. Those are youths that not getting to see their father regularly. That's I'm concern is really the youths them, in this whole situation. But again, I bring it forward to the brethren and the sexual indiscipline.
Yeah.
There's a way in how to conduct these things. If the item want multiple women, you have to have the conversation beforehand with all of the sisters in them. And typically in societies where there's polygamy, the wife helps to choose the new wife. You know what I mean? So there has to be a vetting
And I
process.
chose the girl because I feel like I gave him the girl, and I never forget. We went to the beach, and I introduced him to the girl at the beach, and I saw the twinkle in his eye.
Oh, so
I saw
you saw a twinkle.
I saw the twinkle in his eye, and I saw the energy that was. I told you I'm a seer. I feel since I was a youth I'm a seer, and I knew what it was. But at the same time, I also know that the universe does things. Sometimes we don't want to let go. And we keep on and we keep on, even though it won't go nowhere else. And I feel like that situation happened for me because I had to get out of that situation because I would have been stuck stagnant and not growing the way I should have been growing to complete the house and live off the land and be this homestead that I wanted to create for myself,
Okay.
Mm.
Well, let's talk about solutions. What advice? You're 39 now for younger sisters who are coming into the Livity.
Yeah.
What sounds could you share with them who may see this video and they're eyeing up Rastafari, the brethren are coming at them. What advice would you have for them?
My advice would be to just always be aligned with yourself and your emotions and your feelings. Don't let the little girly butterflies and what glitters and glamours to you take you away from the reality. You have to know a person's family. You have to know a person's foundation. You have to have conversations with family members and really get to know a person before you even lay down with that person, because we're spiritual beings. We feel And in the Black community, when I speak, it's not just Rastafari. I always speak for my brothers and sisters all over the diaspora.
Yes,
We
I.
have faced so much traumas that sex is like the most healing, uplifting feeling that we get so much because we've gone through so much that we use sex as that uplifting feeling. And it's terrible because it's not supposed to be that way, but we have been through so much trauma that when
Yes.
we meet someone and we feel that good feeling, you want to feel it all the time or you want to feel more of it. So we rush things.
Yes.
And we have to learn to just be patient and know that the more you cultivate that energy, the more that experience will be greater for you and that person, you know? So that's
Uh,
really what I would say
I,
to the young daughter.
I love that. I love that advice. The patience, vetting. I love talking about getting to know their family, talking to their family members, because we have to get forward to the village. You
Right.
know, the village has to be a part of the vetting process. What I'm trying to do with my Patreon is, have a place where single Rastafari can go and meet each other, but within a village setting. So you're accountable. You know what I mean? You come into the Lion Pride and you go on with foolishness. There's a wider entity there that can help to, defuse, to mediate, to kind of just provide that support because we don't really have that support. So I want to cultivate that kind of space because even this interview, when I put it up, there's going to be brethren that reach out and say, I want to get the sister number, you know, you know what I mean? That is what
And
always
also,
happens.
it has to be a certain balance and criteria because a lot of brethren, they say one thing. I've had, even when I made that post, a lot of brethren was in my inbox and it's like 70-year-old brethren hailing me up. It's like, give thanks, I'm honored. But let's be real. I'm 39 years old. I'm a vegan. I'm ITAL. My energy is up. Do you think you can maintain me? I still want to have 3 more youths. I don't want to be taking care of you and your older age. Don't get me wrong. If that's something that I would want, there's nothing wrong with that. But in my mind, no, I still have things to be doing. I want my king to be able to be in the hills and be in the soil and stuff like that. I'm gonna be taking care of you. So we have to know, just because you have an attraction for someone, if that's gonna work out just because you like someone or you're
Yes,
attracted.
yes. Again, there has to be a vetting,
Right.
community vetting. It has to make sense for the community. Is this the best pairing for the work that we have ahead? But that also, and this is why I tell brethren, you have to identify your purpose. And the queen has to be
Right.
your helpmate within the purpose. That's how you vet as a brethren.
Right.
Without a plan, and most of us as brethren, or a lot of us, don't have a plan. And this is the fire that I'm burning right now, is that you cannot be a man and you don't have a plan. Because if we look at Kadamari Haile Selassie the first, he always had a plan.
Right, exactly.
You know what I
Very
mean?
pragmatic. Yeah.
You have,
And that was my fight with my ex-husband because it's like we started a farm plan. We had a plan and he didn't stick to what the plan was. And then he told me, like, I'm building on my own out here and you're building on your own out here. And it's like when you have that mentality, there's a separation. We have to still be on the same battlefield regardless of where you are in the world. So
well, I really give thanks for your honesty and your transparency,
yeah,
because it's not easy, even tears were shed
yes,
to
sir.
know that this is someone's life. And we give thanks because, again, I created this platform because we're not having these conversations. These are taboo within
Right.
Rastafari, We talk about the history, we talk about his majesty, prophecy, everything, but then when I'm looking at our relationships within the Livity, they don't look so
No.
Isla. You know what I
Right.
mean? We have the same problems that the quote unquote ballheads have out there. I'm seeing the same issues within the Farai community.
And
So,
imagine me, I come from a Muslim family. My family, they're all married. Everybody has their children. My cousins, my aunts, my little cousin just got married. She's only 17, 18 years old. And then they're setting foundations. And here I come with a different liberty to my family. And I'm embarrassing. I feel embarrassed because look what I'm doing. because of the faith that I put into my relationships, and it's not a good feeling, and it's a great reasoning to have. Yes, sir.
Well, that's a powerful sentiment, and even I've heard testimony about ones on the continent when people come from the
Yeah.
West and go and breed people data and don't deal with the data and the animosity it causes with the families. And this is why, again, I want to have this conversation, because we can't bring this Western kind of gallus breeder slave mentality home. Repatriation is a full wholesome process. We have to transform before we go home, because we'll create chaos. So I really want to give thanks. Are you looking still for love? You said you're looking for or you're open to a brethren. What qualities? Give us some qualities that at 39 that you would find necessary in a kingman.
Honestly, I have children now, so it's harder now, When you're a principal woman, you're a principal person, certain things you can't do again. And I start to live for my youth. So my youth aren't used to seeing me with nobody else. They have only seen me with my ex-husband. And then I was dating someone he was out of the country for a little while, which they only met the person once or whatever. So they never see me with no one else for all these years. So when I'm looking for someone, I'm looking for someone who have that understanding that I'm not ready to bring anyone around my children. I'm willing to date someone and get to know them. And I would love for the person to have a career or be an entrepreneur, because I take care of myself. My ex-husband taught me how to be an independent woman. I don't like to be, but I don't have a choice. And I take care of my own responsibilities. My children want for nothing. I have a home. I have a vehicle. I'm okay in the world. So I don't want to meet a kingman. He's struggling. He don't have much. I mean, I've done that so many times, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, it's like, how many times can we keep helping these brethren now and uplifting these brethren? We need to find a balance, at least meet me halfway. Or be the type of kingman and say, listen, daughter, I'm willing to go to school right now to pick up a trade. If you just bear with me, I work a little 9 to 5. I don't have an entrepreneurship. I'm not an entrepreneur, but I do have a little work, and I do want to go to school. I'm building myself in that way, because this is the reality. We live in America. You have to be financially stable to repatriate, to travel to Africa, to do things. Money will not fly out of the sky. To build a home, you have to have the means to do these things. So if you don't have a business on your own, you have to go in the world and pick up a skill or do something to be financially stable in this place. So I prefer to find someone who's serious about himself and is caring for himself financially. I don't need his money to buy me nice things. I need his money to know we're going to be able to build something together in the future, because I want a nation building person who has the mentality of nation building a family.
And I'm going to talk to the eye as a big brother and let you know that man has to have a plan. And it can't be you suggest a plan for him. A lot of sisters make that mistake. You can't build a man. The man has to come with his vision, or there's going to be that resentment. There's going to be that, emasculation that's going to happen. And I tell brethren, there's a term I learned over COVID called hypergamy, which is a philosophy that says that, or a theory that says that, sisters, they want a man that is either the same or greater social and economic status than them. Sure. And I just block that sound. You want a brethren that's going to complement. You don't want a brethren that's China thing, because
not at this big age.
Exactly. So so this is just reaffirming for the brethren who watch this the reality. There might be a time. I had a time before I was married where I went years without dealing with a sister to get myself together. You know what I mean? And that monastic child, you might have to do that to build your economics, to build your foundation, so that you can really set for a family. So brethren and sisters, I'm asking, who is willing to stand for the black family in this Gideon,
Yes, sir.
Iowa? Who is willing to make the sacrifice, to put away the physical passions, to stand up for the children, for the next generation, to prepare Rastafari for this Armageddon that's coming down on Babylon, hyperinflation, global war, plagues, famine, earthquake. All of this is coming in 2024. Me not talk about 2025, 2024 going to be dreadful. I tell the item. So we have to get this family situation together, family. So I want to just give thanks, Empress Queen Indie, for being so transparent with I, opening your heart. I don't want anyone to come after the sister in the comments. They must go deal with I, man. I'm a lion pride other thing, the little sister now. So
yes, sir.
we want to just ensure, and you're a healer, so we definitely will be in touch in terms of how we can connect the works, because I'm gathering workers, we're building these banks, and that's part of the work that we're doing. Any final sound that I would love to block, just on love and relationships and just for the future?
I just want to say for the ones who know and they see me online and they see me post certain things, just to know that, this is my experience, this is my walk. I feel great in my heart, and I'm grateful to have this conversation. I don't condemn no one or hold nothing against no one. But just like I speak on the brethren, them, they have their own experience and their walk the same way, and they have to learn and grow. And I honor that in any person. So the things that I'm speaking is of old, and I give it the will to the Most High to deal with all situations. Haile Selassie the First, Empress and I, for all things. And when it comes to love and relationship with the younger generation, especially the younger Farai growing up, to let's just be more involved and, set our youths up and set that foundation for them so that they don't go through these things. Even when it comes to career paths or entrepreneurships and things of that nature, helping to cultivate that for these children so that when they do meet their spouses, that they are at a stable balance in their life, that they can be a great partner for someone in the future. And let's just come together as Rastafari families, single mothers, single fathers, everybody, and just build that nation and that oneness with love and forgiveness and purity, all those good things. Because that's what Rastafari is. Rastafari is love. That's the one thing I learned when I was youth, that and man and woman are right is love, and we need to just continue to love.
Give thanks. And you heard it directly from the lioness herself. Why? Because the time has come for the lionesses to tell their story. And this is the lion voice. Lion voice.
Rastafari. Black woman, I say your heart is so golden. I know you were chosen. This world cold, but your heart never frozen. Anyway then, black woman, I wanna see you smile again. Wanna see you walk beside the Nile again. Wanna see you raise the African child again. I wanna see you living in style again. Then, black woman, I wanna see you rise again. Take time, look in your eyes again. One touch, nature rise again. Black woman, don't be surprised again. Then, black woman, look how she work and slave. Right by my side down in a this slave trade. History can record the sacrifice she made. Reparation can match all the price she paid. She now go live like no mice that freed. So I and I the lion of is strong and brave. She says she love the way the king of kings I praise. Plus me no trim nor shave. Anyways, well then, black woman, I wanna see you smile again. Wanna see you walk beside the Nile again. Wanna see you raise the African child again. I wanna see you living in style again. Then, black woman, I wanna see you rise again. Take time, look in your eyes again. One touch, nature rise again. Black woman, don't be surprised again. Then, black woman, I know he hurt you bad. You go with your mother, never know you're dead. Your boyfriend a beat you anytime he mad. Plus you not get no joy from the job she have. But she nah go say coffee, no life that's sad. Work too hard, feel no happy and glad. She search for your man, we got a righteous strat. She find a man with a red, gold and green flag who never brag. Black woman, I wanna see you smile again. Wanna see you walk beside the Nile again. Wanna see you raise the African child again. I wanna see you living in style again. Then, black woman, I wanna see you rise again. Take time, look in your eyes again. One touch, nature rise again. Black woman, don't be surprised again. Then, you're always welcome to come home. She's searching for a love is real, and she don't wanna be alone. She says she wanna love that she can feel. David offspring's on the throne, and I know that he loosed the 7th seal. Babylon dear falling down, that is just what the prophecy revealed. Well then,